Well, thank you so much. What a wonderful series of presentations. You're sharing an evening of global conversations with OneGroup, ending energy poverty in West Africa. Please give a round of applause to all of our speakers for this evening. And also go to their website, www.onegroup.com. That's www.onegroup.com. I've just completed presentations at the Kairos Summit held here in Los Angeles, but streamed worldwide. The Personalized Advertising Representatives is working with a network of communities around the world and here in Los Angeles, including the Sola Collective and the Cycle of Success that recently hosted the Kairos Summit. Challenges facing the 1,000-year Millennium Development Goals, however, are going to require the participation of all of us to make sure that we contribute equally to succeed in the future endeavors that impact the entire world. What you've seen demonstrated this evening is a collaboration between what's called the Global South. The Global South includes those countries that are impacted by the adverse effect of climate change and challenges around the world, but are not as economically balanced with what's called the more developed world. But the challenges that are facing now are 1,000-year Millennium Development Goals, now during its Sustainable Development Goals phase, the worldwide COVID-19 pandemic, looming hunger pandemic, and climate change chaos can only be overcome with the support of royal, indigenous, tribal, traditional, faith-based, and community leaders, working with the business community like OneGroup and organizations, philanthropists, financial institutions, governmental agencies, you and me, to bring peace on earth during our lifetimes. Before I begin, let me revisit the vision and legacy of Kofi Annan, who was the Secretary General of the United Nations when the Millennium Development Goals were conceived to end poverty on earth when launched in the year 2000. He also launched in 2000 a companion enterprise called the United Nations Global Compact, now led by Ms. Sanda Ojiambo, with a 2021 through 2023 local network strategy to leverage that position and elevate expectations of how businesses will embed all 10 principles of the UN Global Compact into their operations. Those 10 principles, covering human rights, including indigenous rights, labor rights, the environment, and anti-corruption, are intrinsic for the sustainability of business, people, and the planet. They offer companies of all sizes a blueprint for contributing towards achievement of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development and the Paris Agreement. PARXTC and Andrew Networks are working with an ad hoc international advisory board of goodwill ambassadors, advocates, and activists to recruit an additional 10,000 civil society members to balance and hold accountable the major corporations and progress the 2021 through 2023 United Nations Global Compact local network strategy as the first phase of this decade of action for delivery on the SDGs. You can find out more information about that at unglobalcompact.org. Please note that you can get additional information about anything I say here, and you can follow up about toolkits and resources to empower you individually, your organization, your enterprise, or your project by emailing andrew@andrewnetworks.com or registering for newsletter updates at www.bit.ly/JOIN, AndrewNetworks. That's www.bit.ly/Andrew, join Andrew Networks. PARXTC Export Trading Company is a registered California corporation that owns several brands, including Andrew Networks, through which has built a robust online communications and marketing network over the past few years, including strategic partnerships and alliances with organizations that provide valuable support services, such as the Solar Collective locally and the Cycle of Success globally. You can find out more about them at www.SOULAcollective.com. I sincerely thank and appreciate the OneGroup co-founder and CEO, Ms. Victoria, and a board ambassador, Ogun Leye, for honoring me with the opportunity to follow these distinguished speakers who have been addressing solutions tackling energy poverty challenges. Today's Project One launch has local, urban, rural, national, regional, continental, and global implications for the first 10-year implementation plan of the African Union's Agenda 2063. That runs from 2014 through 2023. Agenda 2063 breaks down its aspirations into 7 pillars. Number 1, a prosperous Africa based on inclusive growth and sustainable development. Number 2, an integrated continent politically united and based on the ideals of Pan-Africanism and the vision of African Renaissance. Number 3, an Africa of good governance, democracy, respect for human rights, justice, and the rule of law. Number 4, a peaceful and secure Africa. Number 5, Africa with a strong cultural diversity, common heritage, values, and ethics. Number 6, an Africa whose development is people-driven, relying on the potential offered by the African people, especially its women and youth, and caring for children. Aspiration number 7 is an Africa as a strong, resilient, and an influential global player and partner. And that's where the OneGroup team comes in. In point of fact, it was the African Union's development of the Common African Position on the post-2015 development agenda that was incorporated into the finalization of the 17 United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. As you see, this diverse and globally sourced private enterprise of OneGroup advisors and teams represent an exciting and effective example of accomplishing all of the above through Sustainable Development Goal number 17, multi-stakeholder partnerships for development that actually deliver the outcomes of leaving no one behind and building the Africa we want, that governments and multinational organizations claim to want to achieve. That specifically includes the January 1st, 2021 launch of the African Continental Free Trade Area, as well as this decade of action to deliver the Sustainable Development Goals, as well as the United Nations Global Compact's local network strategy for 2021 through 2023, which I am recommending you consider building out as your global infrastructure expands during what the World Economic Forum has branded as the 4th Industrial Revolution. First, let's briefly review all 17 goals from the perspective of people like myself who are physically disabled and who are so often left behind. The 17 Sustainable Development Goals to transform our world for people with disabilities is the same as it is for everyone else. Goal 1, no poverty. Goal 2, zero hunger. Goal 3, good health and well-being. Goal 4, quality education. Goal 5, gender equality. Goal 6, clean water and sanitation. Goal 7, affordable and clean energy, which of course is what brings us to OneGroup. Number 8, decent work and economic growth. Number 9, industry, innovation, and infrastructure. Goal 10, reduced inequality. Goal 11, sustainable cities and communities. Goal 12, responsible consumption and production. Goal 13, climate action. Goal 14, life below water. Goal 15, life on land. Goal 16, peace and justice with strong institutions. And number 17, partnerships to achieve the goals. You can find more information about how this impacts the disabled population by the hashtag Envision 2030. That's hashtag ENVISION 2030. Just to recap, from the perspective of youth like yourselves, who are co-creators of the future, I am representing also, I'm a brand ambassador for Generation Hip Hop Global, based in South Africa, and the Universal Hip Hop Museum, based in the Bronx, New York, with a West Coast organizing committee here in Los Angeles, where I'm also their local representative. Many organizations, groups, and individuals are creating guidelines and toolkits to empower the bottom 99% of humankind to work with the top 1% to leave no one behind. One of the most powerful tools available is a Youth for Global Goals Young Person's Guide to Changing the World, showing how schools, students, NGOs, community benefit organizations, businesses, and communities can work together to raise awareness about and contribute to achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. As a side note, the World Economic Forum, where the United Nations was first announced by Kofi Annan in 1999 before its official launch in 2000. The World Economic Forum recently showcased a report with findings that funding for Africa's startups is at a record high. While the pandemic resulted in major setbacks in 2020, with growth declining 29%, the good news is that major improvements are expected. In 2022, venture capital investment is expected to climb sharply to between $3.8 billion and $4.7 billion, while the upper range is expected to be $6.8 billion by 2023. And by 2025, venture capital investment in Africa is forecast to exceed $10 billion. But venture capital money is not the only source of foreign direct investment into Africa. A recent Brookings Institute indeed pointed out that opening access of money transfer operators like OneGroup to partnerships with national post offices, national banks, and telecommunications companies could help remove entry barriers and increase as I was saying, As I was saying, we're going to do a Hollywood do-over, and I'm going to repeat what I just told you. As a side note, the World Economic Forum recently showcased a report finding that funding for Africa's startups is at a record high. While the pandemic resulted in major setbacks in 2020, with growth declining 29%, the good news is that major improvements are expected in 2022. Venture capital investment is expected to climb sharply to between $3.8 billion and $4.7 billion, while the upper range is expected to be $6.8 billion by 2023. By 2025, venture capital investment in Africa is forecast to exceed $10 billion. But venture capital money is not the only source of foreign direct investment into Africa. A recent Brookings Institute panel indeed pointed out that opening access of money transfer operators like this OneGroup to partnerships with national post offices, national banks, and telecommunications companies could help remove entry barriers and increase competition in remittance markets. And these remittance channels can also be used to mobilize diaspora investments through diaspora bonds and bond financing through securitization of future flows of remittances. Everyone here already knows that money has been flowing into Africa from the European Union, the Middle East, and Asia. But we also know that illicit and illegal and unlawful and criminal money flows out of Africa into those same coffers, as well as into the pockets of American investors and companies. However, the National Committee on American Foreign Policy hosted a panel of distinguished former diplomats as they discussed their experiences and perspectives on U.S. Africa policy and what the future of the region holds in store. They pointed out that Chinese companies never invest in building local manufacturing plants owned by Africans, but instead train local managers, executives, and supervisors that are imported from China, and then support them launching businesses that compete with indigenous businesses at prices that weaken local development. The new American administration is working hard to provide an alternative partnership model. United States President Joe Biden and African business owners have been recently talking about the USAID Prosper Africa project, and at least 25 solar solutions companies and up to 8 financial institutions were recent beneficiaries of a USAID Power Africa Renewable Energy Funding Initiative. All of our audience can access through my company, PARXTC, and Andrew Networks, our contacts right here in the United States and worldwide through this OneGroup collaborative, a toolbox of technical, logistical, and financial services available through USAID Power Africa, USAID Prosper Africa, and various international trade channels. USAID is one of 17 participating Prosper Africa agencies. In the past 24 months, the US government has advanced Prosper Africa by directly supporting more than 280 deals to close across 30 African countries for a total value of over $22 billion. In addition, USAID's West Africa Trade and Investment Hub co-invests with private sector partners with the potential to make a positive impact on the economy and leverage significant private investment. These businesses receive technical assistance before, during, and after their partnerships with the Trade Hub to ensure they can scale up and continue to larger economic transformation in West Africa and throughout the continent. The Trade Hub also supports research and developmental initiatives in Nigeria to introduce new ideas and technological advances in the agricultural sector, such as the OneGroup offerings. You can reach online more information by going to www.westafricatradehub.com. As for the Power Africa Toolkit, you can go to www.usaid.gov/Power Africa/Toolbox/search. Now, the Personalized Advertising Representatives Export Trading Company, PARXTC, we're uniquely positioned to function as your exclusive or non-exclusive mandate through our USA-based corporation in Los Angeles, California, which would represent the world's largest, fifth largest economy if it were an independent entity. For additional information and also to join our network, you can register free as an attendee at www.bit.ly/join Andrew Networks. Of course, you can connect with me directly by emailing andrew@andrewnetworks.com. Challenges facing the 1,000-year Millennium Development Goals, as I said, require all of us working hand in hand together to accomplish outcomes to make sure that we leave no one behind. And none of these activities are happening in a vacuum. All are interconnected. So with that, I want to thank you so much for allowing me these brief moments to introduce myself, introduce OneGroup, introduce PARXTC, and Andrew Networks. We look forward to working and network with you in the future. So please have a fantastic evening and a fantastic life. Thank you so much.